So, Lonzo, just leave me 1 or 2 records, okay? That's it. All right, don't break all my records. Just, I want your grandfather, just let him leave me 1, okay? All right. We want to introduce the newest Laker, and let's give him a hand, Lonzo Ball.
Patrick Beverly hounding Lonzo.
Ball takes the deep 3, way off. But he gets the steal. Shoot it again. And he missed it again. 1 of 7 and 0 for 5 from 3.
Holds on to that left calf again.
Lonzo won't play. Sprained left shoulder, out at least a week.
Ball hurt himself. Grabbing onto his leg. Ball still down.
The Pelicans have agreed to finally trade Anthony Davis to the Lakers. Now here's the compensation package. Everybody's wondering, what would they give up? Lonzo Ball?
Here we go. Lob to Williamson, and he smashes the...
Took the rebound away from 4 white jerseys. Ball at it again. Both teams want to push the pace.
Ball throws it up. Williamson.
Let's talk about Lonzo Ball, how it will affect everything else, but especially the Chicago Bulls.
Ball for Caruso. Triple double. DeRozan matched up with Harden. DeMar kicks. Lonzo fires. Oh!
Caruso's everywhere. They foul Caruso.
Ball to Levine. Showtime.
One player we did not see out there, Lonzo Ball, who is in LA, where he will have surgery on his left knee Wednesday for the 2nd time this year, the 3rd time since 2018.
The Chicago Bulls quietly and privately think that Lonzo Ball's career is over, while a lot of Bulls fans are already coming to that realization.
114 games, 16 months, 574 days, 826,560 minutes. This is how long it's been since we've seen Lonzo Ball play in an NBA game. Despite the injuries, Lonzo saw growth and improvement since his time with the Lakers and was looked at by players around the league as one of the best 3-and-D point guards in the NBA, on track to becoming an all-star in the next few years. But a year and a half later, he's nowhere to be found on all-star or all-defense rosters. Drafted 2nd overall by his hometown team in the Lakers, Lonzo was supposed to become the next great generational point guard in the NBA. And if he reached his full potential, he might just become the next Steph Curry, but with a 40-inch vertical. With a long list of accomplishments at the high school and college level, how could one of the most hyped up prospects in the last 7 years possibly have played his last game in the NBA? The regular season in the NBA is dreadful. 82 games in 173 days, but they get paid tens of millions of dollars. So who cares, right? Not really. If star players are injured and aren't playing, then odds are there won't be as many people watching, which is a problem for the NBA. To bring in revenue, they need their top performers to play games, not be injured. And an average of 1 game every 2 days doesn't seem like it's doing the job. In the 2013-14 regular season, the NBA broke a league record at the time of 4,989 total games lost due to injury. Anything from a sprained ankle to a torn ACL would pile onto this total, even if a player missed just 1 game due to injury. Since then, that mark has been broken 3 times, with all of them coming in the last 3 consecutive seasons, with the record from a season ago being 6,442 games lost to injury. Clearly, load management doesn't seem to be doing its job. Players are more injured than ever, even the youngest and healthiest players in the league. With 8 serious injuries in his first 4 seasons in the NBA, he never got the opportunity to play at his best at full health, and according to the numbers, he would average 1 injury every 31 games, barely making it through the season. The worst free throw shooters in NBA history all have one thing in common. They're centers. Bigs who were so good at dominating inside the paint that they never took the time to develop a reliable jump shot, or free throw. In his time with the Lakers, Lonzo would rank 2nd in NBA history in terms of the worst free throw shooting percentage of all time, placing worse than guys like Andre Drummond, DeAndre Jordan, Wilt Chamberlain, and Shaq.
Embarrassing!
Lonzo was terrible in his time with the Lakers, and when Anthony Davis wanted to team up with LeBron, Lonzo would be shipped to New Orleans with the plan of turning his career around. And he did. In New Orleans, we saw a new Lonzo Ball, and this new Lonzo came with a new shooting form. A summer of grinding seemed to do the trick. Not only did Lonzo shoot a then career-high 38% from 3 in his first season with the Pelicans, but he also managed to play 63 of a potential 72 games, seeming that most of his injuries were now behind him. After another season of improvement in New Orleans, Lonzo decided to sign with the Chicago Bulls in free agency, where we saw him play some of the best basketball of his career, but it was only for a short time. With the Chicago Bulls, Lonzo became an elite shooter, lacing shots at a 42% clip in 35 games in the 21-22 season. In this graph, you'll find the 50 best volume 3-point shooters during that season. The x-axis represents the number of threes a player attempted per game, and the y-axis is the player's 3-point percentage. You'll find familiar names like James Harden, who had trouble finding his stroke after being traded to the 76ers. Of course, we got Steph, who's on his own planet, shooting nearly 12 threes per game at a 38% rate. Flashy players like Trae Young and LaMelo Ball find themselves at just over 38% from 3. As we make our way to the top, we find what every team wants: a high-volume, high-percentage 3-point shooter like Seth Curry and Cam Johnson. And rising young star Desmond Bane put the league on watch when it came to his ability to shoot the 3 in just his second season in the NBA. At the top, you'll see Luke Kennard, who surprises you if he misses any shot from 3. And here's Lonzo, slotting himself among the elite volume 3-point shooters in the league. But that's not all he was doing. Lonzo was one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, but if you dig a little deeper, he ranks among guards in the top 6 in 3 major defensive categories in the 21-22 season. First up is steal percentage. Steal percentage measures how often a player is able to steal the ball from the other team while they're on the court, which highlights the player's ability to disrupt the other team's offensive possession. In this category, Lonzo ties for 5th out of all guards in the NBA, tying with the Defensive Player of the Year that season at Marcus Smart with a steal percentage of 2.6. Next up is the block percentage, which is measured in the same way as the steal percentage, but this time, it's blocks. In here, Lonzo ties for 3rd with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 2.2, only behind Matisse Thybulle and Derrick Rose, solidifying Zoe as one of the elite shot-blocking guards in the NBA. And then there's defensive box plus minus. This is measured by the difference in points allowed with a player on the court versus off the court. On this list of the best guard defenders in the NBA, and Luka, Lonzo ties for 6th at 1.6 as his defensive box plus minus score, once again ranking him just below the Defensive Player of the Year in Marcus Smart. Lonzo brings elite shooting and playmaking on offense and is arguably a better defensive player through the eye test and the numbers test. Will he ever play again? Who knows? One thing is for sure, we'll never see him lace up in those Big Baller brand shoes ever again. In January of 2022, Lonzo Ball suffered a meniscus tear in his left knee and underwent surgery to address the injury. After going through a second surgery, Lonzo didn't come close at all to returning to the Bulls' lineup. And in March of 2023, he underwent a 3rd surgery that included a cartilage transplant, and it offers him the best opportunity to eventually return and play basketball. But he'll once again miss the entirety of next season trying to get back on track. Throughout the last year and a half, Lonzo visited doctors from all over the country, and he left them all baffled at the fact that he was still suffering from pain and discomfort in his knee after multiple surgeries. Doctors even labeled it as a unique injury that has never been seen before. How is this possible? What is something that Lonzo has done in his basketball career that is unrivaled to any other player? Big Baller Brand. In November of 2017, LeVar Ball and Big Baller Brand released Lonzo Ball's signature shoe called the ZO2s for an affordable price of $495. Nice and cheap. As part of the family brand and the shoe being literally named after him, Lonzo felt as though he had to wear the shoes in the NBA, even though he knew that they weren't built well enough to sustain a full game, let alone a quarter.
Them ZO2s I was playing in, they was not ready. They weren't?
Really? What happened? Like, why?
Bro, like, no one knows this, but Demo had a backpack, and he had extra, like, 4 pairs of shoes in there, because I had to switch them every quarter, because they would just rip. Like, if you literally have my shoes from those games, like, they're just, like, exploded, bro. Like, no, I don't know how I didn't get caught. Cool, I can get a quarter in, but that's it. We got to switch them every quarter.
In his only 2 seasons with the Lakers, Lonzo played just 99 of a possible 164 games due to countless injuries. And it got the Lakers so concerned that they directly asked him if his signature shoe had anything to do with his health. At the time, Lonzo denied the allegations made against his family's brand, but privately, he knew what the shoes were doing to him. In the time he wore his Big Baller Brand shoes, he went through a sore left knee, a bruised left knee, and 3 ankle sprains. The whole body is connected. The ankles connect to the knees and the knees to the hips through muscles and tendons. Too much stress to a tissue or bone structure can create a fatigue injury that makes the player unable to participate in their sport. It wouldn't be a shock if the injuries that he suffered early in his career caused by the shoes that he wore are still affecting him to this day and playing a major part in his knee pain, discomfort, and numerous surgeries. That's what the Lakers believe. And who am I to disagree with a professional medical team? I just make videos. Wearing poor quality shoes have proven to not only cause foot and ankle problems, but also leg, hip, and back pain. Dr. Michael Lowe, the team podiatrist for the Utah Jazz, presented a study that shows that at the high school level, basketball shoes should be changed every month, and that it's been found to decrease the rate of injury to professional players, which is why you see guys in the NBA change their shoes every 3 to 4 days. As the shoe is worn for hours on end and week after week, it loses its stability, flexibility, and shock absorption for the foot to properly function and remain safe within the shoe. Failing to do so can result in stress to the foot and ankle structure. Without even walking in a pair of low-quality basketball shoes, you're already losing all the safety that should be required in any shoe. If all the torque, flexibility, and shock absorption is already at its lowest quality before lacing them up, the chances of causing stress to your foot, ankle, or leg is highly probable. Even if the bad results from wearing cheap quality shoes aren't shown right away, they'll eventually catch up to you and have a significant impact on your body. But it's all about the money. Isn't that right, LeVar? It's sad, but it's not like we've never seen this before. A young star destined for greatness suffers injuries that derail his career and leave fans wondering what could have been. Lonzo would join the list of once upcoming NBA stars like Derrick Rose, Greg Oden, Brandon Roy, and Yao Ming. The impact that these players made in their short-lived careers at the top of the NBA is something worth noting. Without the injuries, these guys would be fighting to be the face of the NBA, and the league that we know today would be flipped upside down. Lonzo may not have been at the level of guys like Derrick Rose or Brandon Roy, but he did impact winning on every team he was on. When he plays, his team is clicking on all cylinders, but when he's out, the team falls apart and loses their grip on the season. Zo's a winner, and it's been proven across his basketball career. Every team wants a player like that. Let's hope that we haven't seen the last of Lonzo Ball.